sorry for this technical glitch where I faced the issue in joining this Zoom meeting. And today I was doing one call with my team, so that is the reason got also delayed also.
No, sir, it's not the issue. We are eagerly waiting for you. It's not the issue. Thank you, sir, for joining.
Okay. So now coming to the topic, like the mobile network evolution and what are the different technological trends in IT industry currently. Those are going on. So these are the some topics or the developments that I'm going to cover. So first we'll see, just everyone actually is knowing this what is mobile networking and the evolution. So I will just touch base that, and then the major the part will be what are the current technological trends in IT industry, okay, or in software industry. And then what is the new model, that is the DevOps lifecycle model. What is this model and why currently everyone is using this model? And at the same time, what are the job opportunities for the the new engineers? Those are going to be the product for the industries for the field. Then open source and license software, that also I will cover some part, and why the people are going for the open source instead of license software. And then the different job opportunities and how we can take this as a challenge, and how we can go for learning the online courses, and where we can do some value addition in our skills, and that will definitely help you even as a fresher. You can go on adding these skills, and definitely these skills are going to help you if you are appearing for uh, some interviews, or even if there is a campus interviews in your organization, or even if it is a offline campus. So definitely that will help you. So now coming to the first topic, that is mobile network and evolution. So whenever we think about networks, so broadly we can see there are two categories of the networks. One is the wireless network, everyone knows that, and another is the wireline network. So wireline, where the dedicated lines are there, right? And mobile network, whenever we say it is a wireless, that is the where we are using the radio signals. Okay. So if you see here how this mobile network evolution happens from analog to digital signals. So first category is the uh, 1G, that is, you can say, the first generation mobile network. So this first generation mobile network, which got invented in 1979, around 1980s. Okay, and that then we started using for the mobile phones. So where the signals, so radio signals were in the form of the analog. So, and this analog wise we were using for the this mobile networks. So for the mobile connectivity. So this was the first generation, and then second generation that is introduced in 1990. So where this network is enabled in terms of the digital signals, so analog to digital. So this transformation happens from 1980s to 1990s, early 90s, and in addition to the voice calls, so where even the text messages are also introduced as one service, and the basic data services. So these basic data services were not part of this 1G, but in 2G, these basic data services were the part. Okay, so everyone knows that. And then in early 2000s, so 3G networks comes into the picture. That is the third generation. So that 3G, where then we started using the mobile phones, where having different features, where you can say the smartphone instead of saying the mobile phone. Then the introduction of the smartphones happens, and there the broadband was the mobile mobile broadband, you can say. So that was the invention, and then it is the fourth generation. So currently everyone is using the fourth generation, where our all handsets are enabled in 4G networks. Also, it is called as this 4G LTE, that is a long-term evolution, 4G LTE. And then that is in current days like 2020, so 5G, so it is the enhanced mobile broadband, so which is more faster, 20 times faster. It is it is theoretical, but still it is not implemented in India. So currently it is going on. So every in all the service provider, they are even see, I am working in Reliance Communication, Reliance Jio. So here we are also working here, like how we are going to introduce this, how we are going to implement this on 4G, that is 5G. So this is also the wireless. Now if you see the mostly the software industries, they are using the either ILL connections or the lease line connections. But once this 5G comes, so everyone will go for the wireless connection. That no need to have dedicated lines. That is wireline connections. And this is some, I have written some about this first generation. That is, so you can see here the maximum speed in the first generation was 2.4 kbps. Now we are in the, Mbps or even giga gbps. So, and there were some, the drawbacks for the first generation, like short battery life, poor voice quality. Even sometimes nowadays also we face the problems in 4G also, like call drops and all. So then it is given the second generation. So in second generation, if you see, two major technologies are used. That is, one is the CDMA and GSM. So this CDMA technology, that is, code division multiple access. This technology, even it was used in the 3G. So CDMA EVDO, that is, that was used in the 3G. And GSM, everybody knows that global system for mobile. And the difference between CDMA and GSM. So CDMA, whenever you are saying any handset, CDMA where your SIM number, it is phone number is already, it is embedded in the CDMA handset. Where in case of the GSM, we are using the SIMs. And the maximum speed for the second generation was the 64 kbps. Means from 2.4 kbps, we went up to 64 kbps in second generation. And then this is the third generation, where we can have uh, the maximum speed as 14.4 mbps. Okay, and you can see here, you can say here, this is the first mobile broadband, beginning of the smartphones. And additional service introduced, like international roaming service. This was the introduced in 3G. And then 4G, currently everyone is using the 4G. So major difference between the 3G and 4G, that is speed. Here it is in Mbps, and in 4G you can have up to 1 Gbps. Okay, and the latency of the this data transfer rates, and that is reduced. More data capacity, and the voice service is more enabled for more clarity that way. And then the last one, fifth, which is currently in the India, we are not at least using at this moment, but everybody is working on this. How we are going to, and if you see the speed, so the speed of the 5G, it is going to be, means theoretically at this moment we can say it is 100 times faster than the 4G. So this is all about So everyone knows that, but just I thought I will just cover this, how from 1979 to till date. So how evaluation of this these mobile networks, or you can say the wireless networks, are evolved, and how we migrated from one technology to other technology, how the migration happens. So that gives that clarity. So now coming to the important point, that is, so what are the different technology trends? So any question here on these generations? Or otherwise we can move ahead, and even at the end of the session,
Sir,
definitely. Yes.
hello. At the end of the session, we have the question and answer sessions.
So
At the
not
end.
a problem, sir. So
Hello.
hello.
Yeah. Sir, at the end of the session, we have the question and answer session. So we'll post the question at that time.
Okay, sir, no problem. So I will continue with the now technology trends. So there are numerous technology trends in IT industry, or in, you can say, in the software industry. But I am going to cover here few of them. So like, the first important trend is the artificial intelligence. So whenever you say the artificial intelligence, so always AI, it relates to the human brain, right? Okay. Or in a very simple, the language, we can say, what is artificial intelligence? It is the capacity given by human to machines to memorize and learn from the experience. So your learning is the very important thing in the artificial intelligence. So how we are going to learn the machines, then how they are going to think it, how to create, speak and judge and make the decisions. So how human is going to make the machine intelligence, that is nothing but the artificial intelligence. And if you see AI, so AI at broad level, artificial intelligence is one part where you can have the multiple, the subsets of AI. That is, the machine learning is also the subset of AI. Then artificial neural network, that is also the subset of AI. Then even your all your this language processing. So many things are there. That is the part of AI. And why actually AI now comes into the picture? Since now all the industries, not only all the industries, even means, whenever there is a, wherever we needs the manpower. So first of all, the every management is thinking how I can reduce this manpower or man dependency, or these employee dependencies, how I can do the cost reduction. So there AI comes into the picture, that wherever, the automation, wherever we can do the automation, where we can use the artificial intelligence. So different algorithms are there. All these algorithms we can use for automations. Okay. And another part is that whenever you are seeing the machine, because see, whenever we do any work, so there is a chance of, the manual interventions, manual mistakes. So it is better to have every process to be atomized. Okay. So there itself, the artificial intelligence comes into the picture. And that way you can say, whenever you are doing the automations, or whenever you are going to perform the any task by the machine, so which has which is more faster than the humans and more accurate, that is important. Okay. And as far as this artificial intelligence applications are concerned, so AI is used in numerous way, you know so like if you consider the bank sectors, in the banking sector also you can use, even gaming. So a lot of games are there, where the virtual reality also comes into the picture. Even AR and VR, that also comes into the gaming. So there also you can go for the AI algorithms you can use, even in the astronomy, healthcare. Okay. So your transport, or the logistic industries, even in the agricultures also. So there are many applications where in the agriculture field you can use the artificial intelligence, or for many applications. Even in the education industry, you can use the AIs. E-commerce, this is e-commerce. Nowadays e-commerce is, it's very important, the sector where, because of this COVID also, you can see nowadays everyone is using the online applications. So online applications means not only your web portals, but most of the times we all are using now the mobile APKs. So these mobile APKs, now see, if you just see the comparison between the earlier, the industry and the current industry, at this moment we are in a very critical situation where this COVID-19 is there, and how we are now used to the technology. So you will not believe, since last 3 months I am working from the home. Even you guys also working from the home. and whatever the work that I used to do physically, so same work I am able to do from home. Only the coordination part is more, since if you are managing the team, so that coordination part is more where you need to invest more time. But otherwise, you can do all the things working from home. So this work from home concept is going to come very soon, and you guys are going to be very lucky, those who are in the final year or the third year. So you need to adopt the new technologies very fast, and already you guys are very sharp, and that too you are very close to the Bombay. Okay, that is a metro city where not only Bombay now. As such, there is no difference between metro city or district levels or the tehsil places or the villages. Because of the technology now, everyone has, so whatever the new anything comes in the Bombay or the Pune, same thing is available to all small places also. At least they can see these whatever the latest things are coming, they can visualize that, they can relate that, and those guys are more cautious, or they want to learn the more things people who are living in the metros. But definitely the young generation, everyone is so they want to learn the things fast, and definitely they are catching it very fast. So that is the good thing. Okay, so even in the entertainment also we can use this AI, robotics. So even automotive means where your manufacturing industries are there, and even in the social media you can see, like if I give the example here, like how the earlier the marketing was happening and now how it is happening. So even on Facebook or somewhere in social media, if you simply put key, I am interested in this service, I am interested to get this Geo SIM. So next, within hours or within a day, you will get the call from the from the marketing guy or the person who is managing this means this interest into the order. So this is called as lead to order processing. So that is that way actually the industry is shifting from the older the business model to the new model. So everyone here wants to if someone is interested in anything buying, not only the mobile services, even other services, they want to capture they don't want to miss that opportunity. So that way the all the industries, all the these companies or organizations are working. So that is the thing. So AI, so AI is, it is very important field for you guys, where there are a lot of opportunities, job opportunities, and in all organizations everybody is working on the automation. So that is, this is all about the AI. If you come to the machine learning, so as I told you earlier, machine learning is the subset of artificial intelligence. So machine learning, it is the part of AI only. So now if you see here, so pictorial representation I have given here, like there is one ordinary system, and in between the machine learning and ordinary system there is a human being. So see, system is there, but you have to make that system more intelligence. So automatically system is not going to be the more intelligence. So where human has to invest into that machine, into that system, into the application or into the product, to make that product more productive in terms of their any applications or anything. So ordinary.
Hello, sir. Your voice is not audible.
Is it audible now? Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Audible.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So for machine learning, the input is from the human being only. Okay, with the AI algorithms, where machine learns the uh, learns by using the different techniques. Like here, the major two categories are there. So I'll just touch base. The supervised and unsupervised learning is there. One more is there, reinforcements learning. Even the deep learning is also there. So I'm not touching. You know, the difference between the supervised and unsupervised learning. In the supervised learning, actually you are giving, means what exactly you want. So you are providing the data, and on on the analysis, whatever the, you know, the patterns and all that you are giving, so you are getting the expected outputs. But in case of the unsupervised learning, as such, you are not giving the patterns. So the whole the data, your data in terms of, or the information is into the, you know, that algorithms, and on the basis of data, on the basis of the data, it may be the marketing data, sales data, anything. On the basis of data, then you are getting some patterns, so some sales patterns, or some, you know, some trends, like, you know, so different trends in the, you know, the customer service, you can have the different trends. So that way the learning happens. And here the predictive techniques are very important here in the machine learnings. And at the same times, you can just go on improving the performance of your algorithms. So by using the iterative methods, you can go on, you know, improvising your algorithms, or you can use the different algorithms on the basis of your which application that you want to implement. Where machine learning algorithms can be used, like retail is one of the, you know, the growing, you know, the sector. At the same time, travel, even now healthcare, because of this COVID. Okay, so healthcare is another important now at this moment. So definitely everybody will be scared to travel. So that is a different thing. But healthcare is more now the growing sectors. And definitely the finance is there. Media means, again, here the telecommunication industry also comes into the pictures. So, you know, uh, if you think about to, for anyone to work from home, so what is the basic thing he needs to have? He needs to have one, you know, the smartphone, one high-end and the wireless or the wireline connections. So that way, the telecom industry also comes into the picture. So means the data service. So data service is now important. So a lot of opportunities are there, so in the retail as well as in media and in telecom. And if you see recently, uh, in all the, you know, so like even if you see Idea or the Vodafone, so all these big you know, the investors like Amazon, even Microsoft, Azure, all these guys are investing in the India. And the reason behind, you know, everyone knows that because of this situation. And now this data service, how we are going to enable the data service. And, you know, India, it is the big, you know, the sector where investors are always, you know, wants to invest in the India. The reason behind that, key we people always believe in the technologies and how to use that technologies. And this time we are really using the technologies very well at this situation. So this is all about the machine learning. So again, RPA, robotic process automation. Again, sorry, I could not get you. Okay, it's okay now. So now next trend where you can say RPA process, that is the robotic process automation. So what is this robotic process automation? So So whatever the manual processes are there. So all these manual processes you can implement by using the RPA process. So whatever the business process or whatever the things are there, you can implement it by using the RPA. So again, all these algorithms of AI as well as the machine learning come into the RPA implementations. Like here, some benefits, key benefits are also mentioned here, like customer enhance experience. So how we can improve the customer experience, because customer experience is the very important nowadays. Okay, and that is the reason, if you see, whenever you are using any service from any app or any online portal, so they always ask like you can rate us on your service, so that is the reason they always wants to get feedback from the customer so that they can improve their services. And this is applicable in all sectors, not only in telecom industry, even it is in banking, insurance, in all your retail segments and all. Even you can have you can increase the degree of flexibility. Flexibility is always so key benefits by using the RPA. Then enhancing the scalability of the solution. So whenever you are developing any solution, it should be always scalable. So scalable means like as on today you are having this requirement, but in near future there might be with the change. So otherwise your solution, whenever you are developing any application software, it should be always scalable. Not only in terms of the application, even in terms of the infra, whatever the backend that you are using, and then improve the level of the agility. It should be the agile on efficiency and compliance. Compliance is also very important factors in whenever you are developing any process. And compliance, it may be in terms of the security and all. Then at the same time, some management capabilities. So like if RP is not there, or if some automation is not there, so a lot of manual things you need to do. So how you can improve these management capabilities by doing some automation of the processes, business processes, by using the RPA. And these are the some applications of RPA, like customer service we already discussed. Then accounting, so accounting means banking, finance sectors. Even it can be used in the HR processes, like the HR, like he has to like the first basic responsibility of the HR. He wants some the profiles. So Google is there. So from the Google or from Naukri, or there are so many sites where he can use that services. But if he is having some automated process to get some specific the profiles, so that will help us to reduce the manual intervention, manual process. Then SCM is also there, supply chain management and healthcare. So this way, these are the applications of RPA processes. Like we are talking about this virtual and augmented reality. So we are related to each other. So one is augmented, another is, yeah. So reality is partially immersive, but VR it is close and fully immersive. So you can see here like a pictorial way are always puts virtual things into the user's real worlds and augmenting them. So that way AR happens. Whereas the VR, virtual reality, puts the user inside the virtual worlds. So here real world things are not there. So everything is the virtual. So but you will think it is so it is very same as the real worlds. So that way AR and VR works. And if you see the here the proportionate of the augmented and the virtual reality. So in AR 25% it is virtual, but more it is real. 75% it is the real things, or you can say the real worlds. So as such it is not closed, it is open since it is 75. But in case of the VR, virtual reality, it is closed looping. So only 25% are the real things. Otherwise, maximum 75% it is virtual, and that is the way it is called as the virtual reality. So if you see with AR, user continue to be in touch with the real world that way. So touch is there in AR. User has a touch with the real worlds, but in case of the VR, user is isolated from the real worlds. So this way, AR and VR works close to each other. And generally these VR and AR, these are generally used in the gaming. And nowadays in all applications, in all service providers, they are giving some the gaming sections. So where not only the kids, even the people like the young people, even the the all age peoples are attracted those gamings, and they are really using those games. And that way this sector is also a growing sector where a lot of job opportunities are there in AR and VR. In addition to the gaming, other applications like virtually this AR VR, it can be used for the training. So you can have some virtual kind of the virtual ships, even in the the airships, and that can be used for the train the pilot and train the captains. Even in the medical surgeries also, train the doctors or to give them like how exactly we are going to do the critical surgeries, not the normal surgeries, where also you can use the AR and VR. So a lot of development is happening in AR and VR there. So definitely a lot of jobs are there. So you can use this opportunity for uh, careers. So the same here, the applications are mentioned. Okay. And the major players in the VR market is like the Google is the major player. Similarly, Samsung, Oculus. So these are the major players. They are working on the AR and VR. But at the same time, there are some startups. They are also investing the lot of things or investing the money in this AR and VR. And there also you can have the of job opportunities. Okay, or there is a demand for the professionals, those who are having some AR and VR skills. So next technological trend is the cyber security. See, this cyber security, it is not the current trend, but always this cyber security is going to be there. Even after 10 years or 20 years, this will be always there. So you can say the cyber security, if hackers are there, so you need to have the cyber security, your compliance, your algorithms, your techniques, your implementation. It should be the way it should be implemented so that no one cracks it, or no one cracks your applications, or because whenever you are seeing the applications or any online applications, so a lot of the customer data is there. Even if you consider the banking sector or even telecom sectors or even any finance sectors where lot of information, customer information is there, and as per the different bodies. So in case of telecom, there is a tri body. So similarly in case of the banking, so there are some RBI guidelines. So you need to follow that RBI guidelines or the tri guidelines, or so that way you need to implement your applications or products. So it should be so customer information, it should be the secure. No one should uh, uh, hack such kind of the information which is secured properly. So definitely this cyber security, lot of opportunities are there, and this sector will be always there where you will always find the jobs. So now the most important next technology is the Internet of Things. So whenever you think about the Internet of Things or IoT, so the first thing comes in your mind. So what is IoT? So IoT, the name itself, it is say Internet of Things. So it is collection of things, and all these are connected to each other. That is the IoT. So if you see the that pictorial representation, that is any devices. Any devices means your smartphones, your laptop, your desktop. So all the devices and anybody. So anybody, anywhere, any business. So it is not specific to any business, means it is not specific to any industry like education industry or the telecom industry or the banking industry or the finance or accounting or any, you know, the production factories. So it is involved in IoT. It will comes into pictures for all the industries and any kind of networks. So any kind of the networks means wireless as well as the wireline networks and at any time. So IoT comes into the pictures of 24/7. So whenever you are saying it is connection of all things, so means human being is also there. So all the things are connected to each other. That is nothing but the internet of things. And there are a lot of application at this moment. Also, we are using these IoT applications. But this field is, this sector, it is in a growing stage. And at this current moment also, we are using. So some of the applications are also mentioned here, like, IoT means you can have your smart home, smart cities, connected car, where machine to machine technologies can be used, where telecom sector also comes into the pictures. Okay. Then it is also connected to the, the health centers and all smart supply chain, that is, SCM, but it says here the smart supply chain, then industrial internet. Even it can be used in the training, smart training, and so on. Okay. So this is the and even not only these. So there are other technologies trends also, but I have not mentioned all, like, the cloud computing. This is also the technology trend. So, but it is there. It is there. So definitely, there also you are having a lot of opportunities. So where you can have the infra as a service as well as software as a service. So it is there. But I have restricted to these topmost 5 to 6 technology trends where you can see the lot of opportunities for your careers as well as the job. So now the next model is the DevOps. So what is this DevOps model? So whenever you say the DevOps, so it is the combination of development and operation teams. And why actually now the development? So both the teams are the different teams. So they are working separately. So development team is developing the application, and then operation team is the team who is going to manage that application. So that is the operation team. But now, why these two teams are collaborated to each other? The things behind is that now the customer requirement and the way actually the people wants the delivery, so it is totally changed. So if you see the 20 years back and now, so everyone wants the things more faster with, that is, more faster means they are not compromising the quality of the software or the applications. Okay. So they want the quality software also, but delivers the applications or the softwares at a higher rate. Okay. And that is the reason these two teams now clubbed as a one team and called as the DevOps team. Okay. Called as the DevOps, that is development and operation team. Okay. So what are the different components of these DevOps teams? So on the left side, if you see, so there is one development section, and on the right side there is a operation section. Okay. So this build, code, test, and plan. These four components are completely governed and managed by the development team. And the other four sections on the right side, so monitoring the applications, then deployment, operation, means that is operating that applications, and release. These are completely managed by the operation team. So now, what is their model? How they are collaborated to each other? And that model is nothing but the DevOps lifecycle model. Okay. So if you see here, this is the DevOps lifecycle model. So what is the sequence here? So if you see here, there are 4 components on the left and 4 components on the right. So now if you see the first part, okay, so planning comes as a first component in the development of any application. Then next one is the coding. Then that coding is migrated or converted into the build phase, and then test. So planning, coding, build, and test. Okay, so that comes onto the development team parts, and then for operation it comes the release, deploy, operate, and monitor. So these are the 4 components. So now, what do you mean by the planning phase? So where the requirement specifications comes into the picture. So actually here, you will get the requirement from the customer or from the client. So sorry, just 1 minute. The requirement specifications comes to the developer, the coding phase. So the developer, so if you are seeing the development team, so in the development team also, there are different teams. One is, the first team, that is the planning phase team, that actually you can say the PMO kind of thing. Project management team, they are getting, the requirements from the client, and then coding comes into the picture. So in the coding also, again, you have the bifurcations, like there are some developers, there are some, the DNA, so design and architect team, they are going to take care of end-to-end solutioning, and developers are going to take care of some specific module or sub module into that application. So that way the coding takes place, and then comes into the building phase. So whatever the different modules, those are integrated now, in a single build, that is called as the building phase, where post that building phase, then 2 more teams comes into the picture. One is the SIT. So whatever the different the modules are there, so once they are built into one phase, so then system integration testing takes place. So that is that is the SIT, where all the solution is tested by the SIT team. Then SIT team gives the sign off with their test cases, whatever the test cases or the use cases they have used for the testing. If any flaws is there, they have to close that, means any defect. And then another important team, that is the QA, quality assurance team, that comes into the picture. That does the complete thorough end-to-end functionalities of the applications or the product or the features, okay, or any requirement, that will be done by the QA. So once QA gives the sign off, so this way, this planning, coding, building, and testing, once QA gives the sign off, then it goes to the release management. Okay, so means in the first part there are 2 environments. One is the development environment, second is the SIT environment, and then next is the replica environment. So see, before coming to the live system, your application goes to 3 different environments. Development, where developer team is using that. SIT environment, SIT team is using for the system integration. And then QA team, that is the replica environment, or in some cases you can say it is pre-prod. And then the next environment, that is the live environment, is the production, means that is the live application. So this way the release management comes into the picture. Then release management plans the release, so release manager does the planning, and then it goes for the deployment in the production system, that is the live system, where the operation teams comes into the picture. Release management is also the part of the operation team, and then it is operated by the operation team. So once the system is live, so one more thing, important thing here. So nowadays, application, all the applications are available 24/7, like Amazon, okay, or any application that you are using. So these applications are available 24/7, means in the night also, 2 a.m. I can give the order. Okay, so this way operation team needs to do the planning whenever they wants to do the deployment or any code change in the production. So they need to have the system where you can say it is HA, high available systems. You can have the different the instances where instead of making my system down, I can make one of the module the down where I can do the code deployment. Okay, then I can make that module or that application that instance of that application again live, and then go for the deployment in the next server. That way we can use, so you can have the multiple web layers applications, then similarly at the application levels and at the DB levels, so your downtime will be minimum. So that way we operate. And then monitoring is also the very important part. So monitor using the different tools. Different tools are there. You can use the different tools for monitoring. But nowadays it is not the reactive monitoring. It is proactive. So before user complaints, okay. So you need to do the do backend the analysis of your logs or the exceptions. Whenever you are getting some exception, you analyze it and take the appropriate action there and there itself. So instead of customer is coming to you and saying ki I am facing this issue, so that way reactive monitoring is now converted to the proactive monitoring, or you can say the predictive operations. This is all about the DevOps lifecycle. Now the next important part that I will cover is the open source and license softwares. Okay, so this is another trend that is coming into the picture, and most of the organizations are going for the open source instead of license source. What is the reason why they wants to go for the open source and not for the license software? Okay, so very simple in a statement I have written here. What do you mean by the open source? Okay, open source software. Okay, so open source software where one can have the source code open. So the source code is publicly available to end users. So such kind of the softwares are called as the open source softwares. Whereas in license software, you need to get the license to get the particular that applications whenever you want to use that. So licensing comes into the pictures, and whenever you say licensing, so licensing means you need to pay. You need to pay the huge amount for licensing, and that too, it is not like that you will get one license. So it is, so whenever you are getting the license, it has the capping. So how many users are going to use this? Sometimes in some of the softwares, you need to always get purchase one license for one user. So that way, the cost is very high, very huge. And looking at the current scenarios for all factors, even at the globalization, so there are many challenges, not for the IT industry, all industries, even if it is IT industries, if it is service based or the product based. Okay, so a lot of challenges are there. So everybody is thinking how I can reduce the cost of my service, cost of my product, cost of my employees. Okay, so that way this is another factor where the organizations are going for the open source, and there are a lot of benefits of using the open source also. So since the source code is available with you, you can do the modification, whatever the modification that you want, whatever the optimization. If you are having the the resources, talented resources, they can do the code changing, because everything is there. You need to customize that application or software as per your requirement. So platform is there. So that way here the advantage is, or the benefit is that key organization don't have to start application developing from the scratch. So already application is there. You can go on modifying that as per your need. So that way it is, given the comparison between the open source and, license softwares. Okay. And now, so what are the open source languages and even the OS and the DBs? So, so these are the some, I have not listed all the source languages which are open source, but C, C++, all these are the open sources, like PHP is also there. And, but currently the most, use language is the Python. So this Python, the coursewares are available, everywhere. So if you can do this Python, so this will definitely help you. Even if you are putting in your, CV, I know the basics of the Python, or I know the foundations. So definitely that will add technical skills. So there are some languages, and OS, the Linux. So Ubuntu is also used. So just 1 minute. Sorry. So even Red Hat is there, CentOS. So these are the some open source operating systems. And these are the databases. So currently in many of the industries, when we are also using the Elasticsearch, Cassandra, even Redis. So Redis is also good database, where generally we are using this Redis for whenever you want to, so how the you want to implement some reporting tool, or the in BI or the big data, where the lot of reports are there, the huge data is there, and pulling the data from the backend from the DB is not advisable. So in that case, you can use the Redis server, Redis DB, where uh, only once the DB or the details will be fetched in the Redis, and then next time onwards it will show it from the cache. So that way you can improve the performance of your reporting tools. And even Elasticsearch we are using, Cassandra also, SQLite everyone is using, even MySQL. So these are the some the DBs where you are having the lot of DBs. Okay. And these are the some benefits, like open source softwares, and what are the job opportunities, like whenever you are seeing the open source softwares. So no hardware cost, as well as no software cost, and high quality softwares. As such, there is no vendor, so no agreement, nothing is there. Okay. And license management is not there. So even if it is there, so simple license management as such, no need to pay anything. And scaling is, you can do scaling easily, like since source code is with you can do whatever the changes you want as per your need, as per your business requirement, as per your business process or the client. But at the same time, there are some drawback also. For the new functionalities, new versions, always there will be the delays, and finally there will be no control. Okay. Because if you are having some agreement, so definitely there are some terms and conditions. Okay. So on the basis of that terms and conditions, you can use your vendors to provide the services, or ask for the new functionalities, new release. If any defect is there, they will definitely support as per SLA, whatever your service level agreements are there. But as such, there will be no SLA, and nothing will be, so no agreement is there. So those are some drawbacks. But at the same time, so if you go through these open software applications, so definitely this will help you. So that's it. So now you can ask me like wherever you want, like your questions and answers, or even for the job opportunities or anything. So over to you, sir, guys.
So Thank you so much, sir,
Thanks, madam.
for such a beautiful presentation and information you have been presented over here. I would like to ask you some questions, sir.
Sure, madam.
From the participant side, can we
Yeah.
use Python language in artificial intelligence?
See, Python language, it is completely open. The basic difference is, as such there are no syntactical, syntactical specifications. So you can use, definitely you can use, but more preferably this is used where a lot of calculations are there, mathematical calculations and all. But at the same time, you can go for implementation of any algorithm by the Python. And definitely use the uh, if you see in terms of the performance and all, so Python is very good as compared to the other languages.
Thank you, sir. There is one more question from Prashant Mishra. Is millimeter wave used in 5G really harmful? Millimeter wave used in 5G is really harmful?
See, even if you see the 4G related or the 3G, always in the market, or if we can hear from societies or social media, these waves are harmful. But as per, see, whatever the implementation in India or even in outside it is done. So this is done as per the TRAI guidelines where all these things are taken care. But for 5G, I don't know, since it is not implemented yet. So I exactly don't know means how it is harmful. So I will not comment on that. But always there are things, and we can always see there are some news or social media where they say these waves are harmful, these are not. So that way, I don't want to comment on that. But see like how it will be implemented near future in India and what will be the things. Okay.
Thank you, sir. So one last question from Ashish Tiwari, participant.
Yeah.
How we can connect cloud computing services with IoT?
Yes, absolutely. Because see, IoT is one platform where your all devices means all the things, not only all devices, your entire home, you can make it smartphone. On cloud computing, what exactly you are getting? You are getting the two basic services, one as a infra, another as a software services. Okay. So definitely you can connect it as such. There is no restriction, and there are many the players they are providing the cloud computing services, and for the small organizations or the startups, they can provide the services with the minimum minimum amounts, or as per your budgets you will get the services. So it is a good opportunity to everyone, even for the small startups.
Thank you so much, sir. We are the way to conclude the session over here. I would request all the participants over here to on your video so that we can have a photograph. Yes, over to you.
Hello participants, please just on your video so we can take a photograph, a group photograph for just 5 minutes.
Thank you, Vijay sir, for giving your valuable time.
So thanks, Gonge sir, for giving me the opportunity, and your entire management, and thanks to all the the audience. They are having the patience. So I'm extremely sorry I got some glitch and could not connect at the the right time. So sorry for that. So thanks to your principal and the management also.
Thank you, sir. Sundar sir, over to you. Our host.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for enlightening the participant with the various technological trends in IT industries like artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, virtual reality, and augmented reality. And so, what is the need of the open source and the licensed softwares, and what is the comparison or difference between them? I hope the participants are enjoy this session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so shall I drop now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank guys.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yes, over to you for the instructions to participants about feedback link.
Yes, ma'am. Just for 2 minutes, participants, please on your video, and we can take a photograph. Say cheese. Okay, we are done.
Instruction for feedback link, yes.
The
It's
feedback
already
form
put
will
in.
The feedback forms will be available on the chat box in some time, and as well as on the Telegram group. Please fill the feedback form as soon as possible. The link will be closed till from 3 p.m. and like unlike yesterday, we had to extend it from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. because many of the participants will not be able to fill the form. So now we have extended the time from today till 3 p.m. and the forms will be open till 3 p.m. After that, the forms will not be available and the link will be closed. So please fill the form as soon as possible.
Thank you, everyone, and sorry for the delay for the session. We'll take care for it next time. Thank you. You can leave the meeting, everyone.
Okay guys, here we end the meeting. The links will be posted on the Telegram group. Please visit that and fill the feedback forms.